We should probably go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. I'm John Lee with St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association. It's good to see you. Got a few of our board members on here. Good to see everybody and everybody else. Lloyd sent me a message a while ago. He probably will not be here, or he might be late. So just a couple of things that I'll say is we do have on the 21st, mark your calendars to be in person at the Moolah Shrine Center. We have Dan Bryan, who's going to do a presentation on holding your properties in trust, which is going to be very informative. It's a very good thing to know. I mean, a lot of us, including myself, we hold properties in LLCs, and then probably a lot of us still have stuff in our own personal names, but that just kind of leaves you open to a little exposure in case there's ever a lawsuit. Even if you didn't do anything wrong, they can still find you out, where there's a lot of anonymity with trust. So that's something you want to make sure that you at least find out about it. Then on the 23rd through the 26th, the Moolah Shrine Circus is going to be at I think it's called the Family Arena in St. Charles. And we are going to be one of the sponsors for that. We're going to have a little thing. We do have some free tickets, children's tickets and adult tickets, but the adult tickets, we have a lot more free children's tickets than we do adults. And if you do buy the adult tickets, they're only $15 a piece. And there's several shows to choose from the 23rd through the 26th. So we'll have more information on that. And we will have some free tickets on the 21st on our main event. So be sure to be there, and we'll have more information on that. We do have a coloring book that we put together that's free. So go to the website if you want a free coloring book for your for any kids, or for us big kids that like to do things anyway. We also have our new well, it used to be the resource book. Now it's it's just a St. Louis REIA book. It's on the website also. It's free. You don't even have to be a member to download either the coloring book or that. It's Creating Wealth in St. Louis. So make sure you get your copy of that. If you want a paper copy or a hardback, both of those are available on Amazon. We're going to have a very limited number available at the meeting on Tuesday, the 21st. So if you get there early, you might get a free copy of those. Otherwise, the coloring book's like on Amazon, it's like $6. We couldn't do it free because they just don't do it, but that's the least amount we could do it for. And then the other book, Creating Wealth in St. Louis, that's free on the website. I'm going to put the Kindle book out there, but they only let us do that for 5 days at a time. So if you're a Kindle reader, we'll let you know when that comes out. But you can get the PDF right now free. But if you go to Amazon, it's like $10, I think, for the paperback, and then like $15 for the hardback if you want a hardback. And the only reason that's not free is because they won't let us. So anyway, that was a lot to say. Good to see everybody. And if you got anything you want to say, anything anybody wants to buy, sell, anything you need help from, let me, in fact, oh, sorry about that. Let me have Laura do her disclaimer, so it keeps us out of trouble, because we're all here to help you, but we're not trying to give you advice. So here she is, and then we'll get started.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. First, I'd like to do a bit of housekeeping. Please feel free to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. Please be mindful of everyone else by muting yourself while others are speaking. You're welcome to put any contact information that you want to share into the chat. We meet here to share deals, look for deals and solutions we have and need with our real estate. We are not your financial advisors, attorney, or accountants. We do not endorse or recommend any specific solutions or contractors here. You're advised to do your own due diligence to your own satisfaction before you invest. The first Friday of each month is Ask the Attorney with Ms. Catherine Davis. Our meetings are typically recorded, so only share what you want others to know.
Thank you, Laura. Okay. I do have one more announcement too that I forgot right here. On April 29th, mark your calendars. That's a Saturday. We are going to have a special session that we're putting together. It's Real Estate Investing 101. We're going to have an all-day workshop that we're putting together. And we're going to just go over, it's not only for beginners, even though we call it 101, it is going to have some other stuff in it, but we're going to go over strategies, on investments, and then finding properties, doing due diligence, funding. We're going to talk about managing your properties, documents. There's a few documents, and mainly it's from our Friday sessions that I'm putting together of stuff that people seem to miss, even experienced people. There's a couple things that are very important when it comes to your investments, things that could keep you out of trouble or save you down the road, things I've personally gone through, and I know people's ask about. Also, some clauses in some documents that you must have from being an investor. We're also going to talk about the importance of networking like we're doing right here and right now, and which is really, I think, one of the most important things. And then also building your team. There's a certain kind of skill to put your team members together. They need to have the right mindset like other investors. I know that, it's a lot of that's trial and error, and a lot of people just don't know how to network, how to network up, and none of us do until we're around people that know it. So anyway, that's the other thing I wanted to say. There's going to be a cost. That's going to be, I think we came up with $99 for our members, and then like $149 for guests or anybody that wants to be a member. So that's another reason to become a member, but it will include lunch, and it's going to have a blueprint. I started working on a workbook last night, so it's going to have a lot of information. You're going to get way more than your money's worth out of that. So anyway, so that's all I have for today. Yeah, oh, the breakfast too is the other thing. I know that if I keep talking, there's probably more stuff to come out. The second Tuesday of every month now, we have the breakfast at the Shack over, I don't even know where it's at. Check the website out. You'll get all the details. STLREIA.com, or maybe Jim or Jeanne or somebody else could talk about it.
It's on Olive, just across the street from Barnes West. It's on Olive, just west of 270 on the north side of Olive, in a little shopping center.
Thank you. And what is that time? Do you know that, Jim? And it's like 7
to 9.
7 to 9.
7 to 9. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, and they did say if you can't make it at 7, come anytime, because they just hang out. So even if you get there at 8:30, it doesn't matter, just to have a cup of coffee and network.
Great. Thank you, Jeanne.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very nice. Okay. Anybody have anything they're selling right now? Good time. Present your deals. I know we've had a lot of things, good exchanges here on our meetings. Or does anybody have anything they're looking to buy? I think there's a lot of buyers out there right now. A lot of the sellers are kind of waiting to see what happens, I think, too. So.
Yeah, I'm always looking to buy any single family residential home in South County or South City to rehab. So if anyone knows of anything.
Okay, do you have any criteria, Jeanne, as far as total rehabs, slight rehabs, any certain dollar amounts or anything like that?
Yeah, I think the numbers just have to work, but I would say after repair value, maybe having a home that sells around $250, and not a full gut rehab, certainly, but maybe mild to moderate rehab.
Okay.
Where the kitchens and baths have to be done, and but no major work.
Okay. Would you like to give us some contact information for any way you would like somebody to get a hold of you? And if you don't mind saying it verbally and then also putting it in the chat for us, that'd be very helpful.
Okay. Jeanne Whalen, and my telephone number is 314-260-6676.
6676. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Would anybody else like to buy anything or sell anything?
Hi, John.
Hi.
I have a duplex for sale in St. Louis.
Okay.
It's a full gut rehab, and it needs a roof and everything. It needs everything actually. So I'm gonna put my contact information in the chat box for everyone.
Okay, great. Christopher, how much do you have a address or something, some more information you'd like to give us? Maybe what you're asking for it and
The address is 5865 Lotus Avenue, St. Louis, 63112. And I'm trying to follow one of your rules, John, and do owner financing if it's possible. If somebody is interested with a down payment, just do one of the things you teach. So that would be that. And I'll put my phone number. I'm asking for $20,000 for this property.
okay, what was that street again? You said 5865.
Lotus, Lotus.
Oh, Ludus. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you very much. And you want 20,000, you got some possible owner financing?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, if you don't mind putting your information in there, that would be great. So we could write it down also.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay, anybody else have anything they'd like to share with us today? No, everybody else kind of quiet today, huh? See, Stacy put a new video out there today on the management. I've been enjoying those, and we've shared some on our Facebook site there. I tell you, the little videos, I tell you, they go a long way. A lot of people in a lot of groups, people will pay more attention to the little stuff, it seems like these days, but they have good content. And I just wanted to acknowledge you on that, Stacy, and thank you very much for sharing that with us. So
Thanks. It was pretty fun making.
yeah. Yeah, it looked like you have fun with it. And that's the whole key too, that, you got to have fun with everything we do. That's for sure. So thank you. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen that yet, go to the Facebook, our page, St. Louis Real Estate Investors, on the Facebook group. If you're not a member, join. We do encourage you to share things and comment on stuff. It's always a lot of fun. I personally try to stay off of social media, with the exception of once a day, I go look at everything. And then that's what I do. The best thing that ever happened to me was being in some of these small groups. Actually, it was with with a group of writers from a book we were working on, and it required me once a day to go there. So instead of just going there randomly, like most people do, and just kind of scrolling and seeing what has to be done, I go there with a very specific purpose once a day, and then I scroll real quickly to see if there's anything important. And honestly, there's hardly ever anything important. It's usually just a friend of mine, I forgot their birthday or something, but I go in there, and what's nice is we use that for our accountability. So, we're working on things. And even if you don't do anything that day, you just go in there and say, hey, I didn't work on my stuff today. Life got in the way. But that's what's really helped me with the social media, because I know a lot of us will get up, or I see a lot of people too, and they'll get up in the morning. It's like the casino. You open it up, you don't know what you're going to run into, just start scrolling around. Next thing you know, an hour and a half went by and you didn't do anything. So anyway, that's kind of how I do it, but I appreciate that, Stacy. I mean, you really, that's very encouraging to do that. In fact, one of the things that, us being here like this, like we do, we share the replays. But one of the things you could do, if you really want to get people's attention, if you got a place for sale or you're looking to buy stuff, just pull out your little phone and do yourself a 40-second video. Don't make them more than about a minute, because then they get boring. Okay, but less is more. But get out there. If you got a place for sale, like Christopher, if you're close to your house, walk down there, the place you have for sale, just do a little quick video. You don't have to show all the stuff, just show it and say, hey, this is what I got. You want more information? Get in touch with me. I mean, it's that simple, because people will do that. And if you can put your, the words on there too, the transcribes, a lot of software will do that for you now. People can do that while they're standing in line for the grocery store. And they do. I've watched them do that. They'll sit there. They might not necessarily want to hear what you're saying, but if they can read it and get your phone number, it's a good way for them to capture your contact information. So just a couple little things that may help, may not, but it doesn't hurt. Thank you, Stacy. Looks like she put our site in there, our link in there. Very nice. Okay, anybody else have anything you'd like to share today?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
This more goes towards estate planning. Looking for someone to talk to as far as maybe how to leave my properties. So like something happens to me to leave it to my kids. And so I don't have a will or a trust or anything like that. And I need to get something like that together. And at least just someone to talk to kind of get something like that going. Naturally, like bank accounts and all that, you have beneficiaries on those, but something where it won't be an issue if something happens to me when it comes to my properties. Just maybe a name of someone I could call just to talk to or get a little more information.
That's a good question, John. A lot of us come up with that. That's something that that I personally think is a personal thing, and you need to, because we all have different situations. It's like when we first go into setting up our real estate businesses, one size doesn't fit all. The same thing with what you're talking about there, John. One size doesn't fit all on that. And I would say probably a good place to start, just to ask for a referral, would be with maybe Catherine Davis, the attorney that comes on here, and she's not an estate planning attorney, but she knows pretty much everybody in the area here. Are you in the St. Louis area, John?
Yeah, I'm in St. Louis. Yeah.
Okay, so that would be a good place to start. I would just call their office and see who she recommends, because she's going to get you in the right direction. Now, that doesn't mean that's the exact person for you, but that'll get you in the ballpark of talking with an attorney, because everybody's situation is different. And I mean, like with me personally, and I'll use my example, this is a little bit different, but when we first started setting up our real estate business, we went to the accountant and the attorney had to get on the same page, because they actually had different ideas, but the ones we had were different from what a lot of people had. We ended up doing an S corporation and a couple of LLCs, over a short period of time, as opposed to just going to because you can go to you can go on YouTube and estate planners and all this kind of stuff, but the problem is it's not specific for you, is what I found. And that's what I noticed with everything I've done with with setting up our stuff. But a good place to do that though would be with Kathy, and just to ask her to get you to find out who she recommend. Let me get and I'll get that number for you. I'll put it in the chat for you too. So anybody else have anything they'd like to say about that? Feel free to
Plus Kathy will probably be here, the first Friday of next month? Online?
Yes, she will actually.
He could ask her then.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Will the person who's going to be at our meeting, our next meeting, talking about trust, will he be of any help?
That's a good way to hold your property, and a lot of people do use that, Jeanne. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, that's something you could bring up at that meeting too, in a couple of weeks if you'd like to do that. Dan is not an attorney, but he is an expert on trust and how to hold your properties and do that. So yeah, that's actually some good questions. The best thing to do probably, John, is just like you're doing right here. Just keep bringing that up and asking people, who do you use? What do you do? Because like I said, one size doesn't fit all, and it's that's not always a good answer to the question, but that's always the way it is with everything we do. It's everything is done on an individual basis, for what we need. So I got Kathy's phone number here, so let me put that in there for you. And let's see, that's if you're not a place, you can write that down. It's 314-962-1115.
I got it. Thanks.
I'll put it in the chat here.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. we go. All right. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say today? Good, bad? Thoughts, comments, anything you're working on that you might have a small question on? I mean, this is a great place to come in here and just see what others are doing or ask for some, not necessarily advice, although you get a lot of tips from people here because most people's been through just about, or not most people, but just about it. Somebody's been here almost every week from something you've already been, that you're looking to do. So a good place. A lot of quiet people today. Anything, anybody working on anything? Is this, everybody's waiting for the weekend? I mean, what is there? Anybody, you can see behind me, we got our Laura actually did it. She fired me as the GC, and since she took over, everything's moving along on our place, but we got the garage got put up this week. I think that was Monday, and we haven't been down there yet. You can see I'm in front of where the house is going to be. So our place is moving right along with a lot of moving parts when you build a place. I'll tell you that, a lot more than anybody ever dreams of, a lot more than I dream of, I should say.
So is that a 3-car garage or a 4-car garage there?
It's actually 4, but the one, yeah, one's a double, one's the middle, and then the middle one's just a single, and then the one at the end is for my tractor that everybody keeps telling me I need to have, which I don't have, and I don't see a reason for it.
Well, I thought the one on the end was big enough for Lloyd's RV to store.
It probably would be. Yeah, he wouldn't want to commute that far though.
That's probably true.
It's 100 miles from my house, or our house right here.
Well, you can rent it out at a good price. He may take it.
Yeah, maybe I should build a bigger place and start my RV storage out there.
Yeah.
There's actually somebody not too far from us down here that started a very unique Airbnb, and it's with like old boats and buses and all kinds of stuff they've redone. They bought some of these old like band tour buses and stuff like that and completely redid them, put a lot of money in them, and that's very unique kind of like an Airbnb down there. They're not cheap though, I'll tell you that. They cost a lot of money to stay there, but it's very, very cool.
Living in a junkyard.
Well, it didn't look quite junky, but
okay.
Yeah, there are some neighbors though. The nice thing and the bad thing about living out in the country is you can't control your neighbors. So, but you just have to buy your neighbors out. That's what we kind of started doing, is buying them out around us so they can't get any closer. And I don't know of any other way to do it.
John, is there another class coming March 30th that you wanted to share with the group?
On March 30th?
Yeah, with Kathy.
Oh, Kathy Kennebrook you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, she's something. This doesn't really have anything to do with our group, but I'm assisting her. But that's okay. We'll go ahead and mention it here. Yeah, Catherine Kennebrook, she's been to our group several times. Actually, I think she was the last national speaker we had in 2019 before everything changed in 2020. She's very knowledgeable, been around a long time. She's doing a thing on buying land. Okay, which is very, very unique the way she does this. In fact, it is a free evening. It's on the 30th, and if you're on my list, you'll get that. The St. Louis REIA will not be sending it out, but if you're on my list, you will get some of that there. And I encourage you to listen. To what she has to say. It'll be a real short. It won't be more than probably an hour and a half or 2 hours, something like that. She gets a lot in there, and she offers a lot. There's a lot of things you can pick up from her. She does have a program if you want to continue. She's got a very unique way of finding these properties. I mean, she's been around for a long time, very good educator. She's got a very unique thing, and her program program is not very expensive. If you do decide that you do want to do this, I just always leave that up to everybody else, but she offers some really good coaching. I know a lot of our members, including myself, have picked up a lot of good things from her over the years. And she stays with you though. That's her coaching and all that. She does help you succeed. And that's what a lot of, a lot of the national trainers, and not that there's anything wrong with them, but a lot of them, they like to sign you up and then they don't really follow through with helping you out. But she's not one of those. She stays with you, and she's got a lot of good, a lot of good feedback from just around the country. If you look at any of the, talk to any of the REIAs where she's been and things, she's done a lot of good for people and really helped them out. So yeah, if you'd like to tune in, if you're not on my list for some reason, I'll probably be sending the announcement out to my list this next week. So if you don't get that, or if you'd like to do that, just send me a note and I'd be happy to put you on there. And there will be some free gifts and some other stuff with that, not to get too far ahead, because that's a couple weeks off still, but that's something. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Jeanne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, John, how do you get on my contact list? Just send me a note. I'll tell you here, I'll give you I'll tell you the quickest way to get a hold of me is the easiest way. There's a couple ways. You can always go to linktojohn.com, the number 2, linktojohn.com, and there's a lot of stuff on there. Or you can, this is my shortest email link right here, is 1719@duck.com. That's one I got not too long ago, and I like it because it's a short one. It's our new address, and that's the only way I could remember it, because we had to get an address before we could get insurance for the place we're building, and they wouldn't give us one until 911 came out there, and they had to bring the sheriffs because they're worried about the neighbors shooting at them. So anyway, and the only way I can remember this, that's how I gave it to my insurance guy, was through this email. So anyway.
So the neighbors know you well enough not to shoot at you?
Yeah, our closest neighbor is a third of a mile away. So we don't.
Well, bullets travel a good distance nowadays.
That's what I hear. No,
Oh, geez.
no, most people, no, they're not going to shoot at you down there. What he was talking about was kind of funny. The 911 guy, when Laura was talking to him, said it was from some other places. He said he used to go out there and people would be shooting up in the air, not knowing who he was. And I know the roads are not good. And, some of our neighbors were kind of complaining about the roads not being, that good. I personally like the roads not that good because it discourages sightseers.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't think it's all that bad, because you got to, know what you're doing to kind of be out in certain places. But no, neighbors aren't going to shoot at you. They're all pretty friendly people as far as I know.
They didn't think they were revenuers, huh?
I don't think so. Not this time anyway. Yeah. No, it was kind of funny though, because you have to get your address from the 911 people, and they're kind of connected to the sheriff's office, but not really, I guess, is what my understanding is. But the guy always brings a sheriff with him now, because they want to travel with the sheriff's vehicle, just because not all the neighbors think they're friends.
Jeez.
So it's the country. Yeah. It's
John, when was that Saturday event again you were mentioning earlier?
Saturday, John, that's Saturday. Are you talking about the if you're talking about the real estate investing 101, that's on April the 29th.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be really good. We're going to put that full of content. So, it's been, in fact, I was just looking last night when I was starting the workbook that we're going to have, the blueprint, and it's been 6 years since we did the last one. It was March of 2017. So a lot of time goes by, but that's the last time we had one of these that we put on ourselves. It's going to be going to consist of some people that are actually doing things. It's not a sales event at all. What you're paying for it is strictly for content, and it's stuff from board members and from others in the group that really just have your best interest at heart, who really want to help you. So that's how we're putting this together. And really look forward to seeing you. It is limited on the amount of space though. Counting, it's not in our regular room. So we usually can't get that on Saturdays, and it's around the corner, but it is very limited. I know the last time we had, I think it was 25 or maybe 28 people, something like that. So by the time you add the staff and things in there, it doesn't hold a lot of people. So just keep that in mind. And I do encourage you to show up. If you want to know more about it and I don't think it's on the website yet, but it will be STLREIA.com soon, as soon as we get something on there. The newsletter, I know they got that done kind of late last night too. So that'll be out probably within the next week or so. So it'll have a little bit more information on there, but just plan on showing up on the 23rd, March 23rd on Tuesday night, if you can at all possible, or tune in by Zoom and we'll have more details on that. Okay, Linda, okay, you were asking me in the chat here. Let's see. I saw obtain property. Would you like to unmute yourself and explain a little more? Linda, can you do that? You're at work. You can't do that. Okay. Well, Linda was looking for some seller financing property. Okay, are you looking for a place for your personal residence, Linda? Or are you looking for an investment property? She's just saying she's looking for something. She's at work right now, cannot unmute herself. So, investment property. Well, we did just have Christopher just said he had an owner financing property for approximately $20,000. And I don't know if you were here when he was talking about that. Did you put your contact information in there for us, Christopher? Let me look back here.
Yeah.
Don't think you did. Could you put that in there for us?
He did. He did.
Oh, there it is. I got you right here. I didn't look back far enough. Okay. Yeah, if you can write this down, Linda, his Christopher's number is 303-359-1296. I'll see if I can copy that for you. If that's not what you're looking for, let's see. So,
Yeah, I don't know if you all have found that out, but if you're late and to like, I was late because my computer was giving me problems. So I was about 17 minutes late or so. But if I try to get on the chat, it doesn't show anything in the chat before the time I got on. So if like you were just saying, Christopher's stuff is nowhere in my chat because that was put in beforehand. So if somebody has something else to say where they put in stuff in the chat early, they may want to redo it again.
that's a great point, Bruce, because I've noticed that with some other things that I've been on. And that's one reason we do encourage you to verbally say your contact information as well as put it in the chat, because some people are visual and some are, auditory learners, or, are note takers. And when you can go back and watch the replay, one nice thing about our replays is you can slow them down and listen to them, because I do that a lot myself just to make sure I get the stuff, get the correct information. So thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, because
a number of people avoid that altogether by putting their phone number in instead of their name, or like putting their name in and the phone number, because the line usually shows up with both their name and phone number if they've got enough spaces. I've noticed that in a bunch of Zooms, people put their name and phone number together and it shows up on their Zoom icon, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Great point.
Want to put that in just to start with,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen some people that encourage you putting your phone number or your email address or contact info as your name, kind of like what you're talking about. And that's another way you can do it. QR codes are a good thing to do nowadays too. We use those more and more, but still a lot of people don't know how to use those or don't want to use those.
Like Carrie Curley's got her email address in the name line, so it's there automatically if anybody wanted to contact her, so she avoids having to redo it in the chat. Yeah.
Great point. Mhm. Yeah, that's one of the things. In fact, maybe I'll just bring this out. I was looking at this the other night and wanted to see if there's any interest in doing this. We haven't done this in many, many years, but about putting together maybe a contact list of members. If you wanted maybe just a little one sentence thing about what you do, what you specialize in, or what you're looking for, or anything like that, and your contact information, kind of like and I'll kind of date myself by saying this, but like in the old Yellow Pages, but just kind of like a contact list of members. And we've talked about that before. We haven't done it in many years, but if anybody's interested in doing that, maybe just drop a line either in the chat, or you can send me an email or something like that. And as we talk more about that, and we'll get some more input on that. But that's
Do
something.
we have something like that on the REIA website already? I don't know. It's pretty limited. I guess people don't want to advertise their name and address and phone number on the REIA website either sometimes.
No, this would be probably more of a private list unless you want it out there. I mean, we like on this right here, we don't share your contact information, and we ask you to only give out what you want. Putting stuff on a public website is a little different too than watching the replay. So that's something, I mean, the sponsors that we have, vendors, you can put your name and your contact on there. But as far as members go, that's a little bit more private is what we've, anyway, that's what we've come up with in the past. But for something like this right here, though, we could put something on there. It is a little bit more private, and then we could just have it. Hey, if you want to know what people are doing, we'd be happy to send that out. We just haven't got that far yet.
Yeah, I don't remember. Does the REIA website also have a list of contractors that people like? I noticed some other REIA groups have got lists of like that out there too, for what that's worth.
No, and I tell you, one of the reasons we have not done that, Bruce, is because when you start sponsoring, I mean, we have sponsors and vendors, but then if you start recommending stuff, that gets in a whole nother set of circumstances. And we are nonprofit, so that's one reason we start adding the disclaimer too, because that's just it's one of those things. You start recommending people, then it comes back to you. And it's not that we don't want to share contact information. That's just a fine line you end up crossing.
Right.
And everybody really needs to do your own due diligence on everything you do. We want to be there as the, kind of like the lighthouse where you can come and get the information and find out stuff, but you really need to do your own due diligence on who you want to do business with, and things like that.
Right.
Okay. Looks like James has something in here. He's at work. Cannot chat, looking for pre-foreclosures to work short sales, and got his contact information in there. Okay, you can't chat, but there's if anybody has any thing like a pre-foreclosure, I guess, for a short sale, you get a hold of James. His contacts JamesJarparks@gmail.com, and his number is 314-833-9674. James, do you have any certain areas that you're looking at, or any more basically criteria, what kind of things specifically you're looking for? That does cover a pretty big area. If you do, just drop that in the chat. We can share that. Otherwise, if anybody has anything on that. Retail, I guess that's after repair value of 250,000, he says. Okay. Right. Anybody else got anything they'd like to share with us today? Okay, well, we got a couple people looking for some things. Got one for sale. Let's see here. We got Jean's looking for a place for around 250,000 ARV, South County, South City, that needs some rehab, not a total gut rehab. And then we also have James looking for a pre-foreclosure. That's as possibly a short sale up to about $250,000 also. We've got let's see here. We've got a duplex from Christopher. That's a gut rehab. He's got some possible owner financing. So that's at 20,000. So that's a good opportunity for somebody. Wouldn't cost much money. Maybe looking to create an opportunity for either cash flow or possibly it sounds like maybe a fix and flip, something like that. So got a lot of things coming up here as far as meetings we got going. Let's see here. Okay, we got John just dropped something in here. He's looking for a rehab property in decent to good area, no war zones. 314-540-1120. Okay, John, can you unmute yourself and tell us a little bit more about what the areas you're looking for? What maybe you're looking are you looking for a full rehab or a partial rehab? What kind of amounts maybe? Is that possible that you could tell us about that? No gut. I guess that means no gut rehabs and no gut that you can't unmute. Okay, well, maybe he can't unmute himself there. St. Anne are better. I don't look at neighborhoods like that because my experience is somebody wants to live in every neighborhood. And I've made some of the most money in neighborhoods that I wouldn't go into myself at night. And I back up saying that because I used to work in a lot of neighborhoods, not even knowing there might have been danger. And my experience is also, it doesn't matter what neighborhood you're in. If it's empty, they'll steal the copper and they'll steal the air conditioner. I don't care if it's $1 million neighborhood. So that's just my experience. I don't call one neighborhood necessarily better than the other. I mean, there's some I wouldn't necessarily live in, but that doesn't mean somebody doesn't want to live there. So, people talk about war zones and stuff. I don't know. If the deal makes sense where you can help somebody out, I usually go ahead and do it. But St. Anne's good area. I mean, there's a lot of good areas around there. It sounds like you're trying to stay in the county. Would that be a fair statement, John? $50 miles of St. Louis. Okay. Well, that covers quite an area. So if anybody's got anything 50 miles of St. Louis, just get a hold of John. Is it Paquette, I think is your last name. I can't pronounce it, or I'm not real good at names anyway. So, but that's okay. And Linda was asking on or off market. Yeah, it always makes a difference. The best deals you're going to find are off market. They're the hardest to find, but that's why we come to places like this, because you can talk to people. A lot of people here have stuff that before it gets on market. Some stuff that when it gets off of market. I know Eric's, I don't think he's here today, but he likes to look for stuff that just comes off of market that nobody, off of the market that nobody sold. And that's a good strategy in itself. There's not any bad strategies out there. They're all good. And I just think it's always a good idea to specialize in one thing and just do something the best that nobody else does. No matter what neighborhood you're in or what strategy you use. You just want to stand out from everybody else, because what happens a lot of times, everybody does what everybody does and get the same results, which is about mediocre. And if you just specialize in one certain thing, regardless of what that is, in my experience anyway, you'll just be the best at that. I personally don't like competition with anything I do, but that's just how I approach it too. Okay, John says off market is usually better. I agree with you 100%. Off market's always good. I like the stuff that cannot be sold retail easily myself, just stuff that, and I personally just look for problems. You just got to solve the problem and go in there with good intentions and go in there with a win-win-win philosophy. Because we all have stuff that we need. at the times. And when we run our ads and that kind of stuff too, you got to look at the results. You know, people are looking for results. What's in it for them? Even though it sounds kind of selfish, that's always what people are looking for. You know, if they got a problem, they just want to, they don't really care. We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier with the creative deals and some of that. I know Alex brought that up with Bill Cook down there. They do a lot of creative things, but a lot of times, you got to make it simple for the people. They don't, if you got a buyer, a seller, somebody that has a problem, you're a potential buyer, they're just looking for you to solve their problems. They don't care if you want to do, they may just need you to take over the payments or something like that, or give them a solution, or find another buyer. Maybe if you're a wholesaler or something, they don't necessarily care that it's going to be a wraparound mortgage or a wholesale deal. They don't even care. They don't even want to hear the terminology. And one of the things that I've done, in the mistakes I've made in the past, is by talking to tenants and potential buyers and things, telling them, oh, I can do I'll do a lease option and turn it into this and this and this, and then I just confuse the heck out of them. They don't do anything. The best thing I could say is, just what are you looking for? Okay, you need a payment of $1,000 a month. You want something for your family. You want something you can grow into. Stuff like that. Just find out the normal everyday stuff, and that's how you're going to solve their problems, and come up with a solution for them. So that's just the simplest you can keep it. I talk a lot about kissers. Keep it simple, really simple. But I practice that every day as much as I can possibly think of it, because in the real estate business, probably even worse than most other businesses, they like to use what I call HAs, and that's just abbreviations, acronyms, and hegemonies. And a lot of times we use all these code words, and I joke about in some of the writings I've done, do you know your BOM from their DOM, things like that. And if you don't know it, look it up. I'm not even going to tell you, but there's a whole bunch of stuff like that people in the business use. And, we need a VOR, we need a VOD. I know probably Carrie knows a couple of those kind of things. And I used to hear that kind of stuff all the time. It's kind of, until you get used to, if you're around them all the time, that's great. But the average person, I know, even when we used to talk about, one of the slang words is talk about other properties in the neighborhood, comps. And you really you want to tell the people, even if they're in the business, they're comparables is what they are. And you really want to just be very specific, because I've been to a lot of conferences and different things like that. And people use I call them the HAs, the big word, the shortened words like that are really things. And most people won't even say stuff, even if they're in the industry. Half of them don't even understand what you're talking about, but they don't want to raise their hand because they feel like they'll look foolish. And that's something that I encourage you not to be that person to where somebody can't ask you a question. Just explain it right up front. I mean, that's, the ARV, it's the after repair value. Even though we all know this, not everybody knows that, and I try not to assume everybody knows that. So that boils back to what I like to use a lot, just kissers. Keep it simple, really simple. So. Yeah, and Jim's laughing because he knows it's true, because he's been through some of them conferences too, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, a confused mind always says no, and that's exactly what happens too. Laura just reminded me of that, because we run into that all the time. Less is more. In fact, one of the groups we're in with Fred Miller, I don't know if you've ever seen him. He's from St. Louis, and he wrote the book No Sweat Public Speaking, and he's really good to learn from. If you ever, he's around, I think, with Forest Park Community College, I don't know, but he's got this thing on your elevator speech. Most people can't tell you what they can do in even 50 words or less, but really what you want to do is tell people what you do in 19 words or less. And if you can get it down to 16 words, that's about perfect. But you also want to exclude as many people, if not more, than you include with what you do. Good example, and he uses of that, is a conference that was actually, I think, in North County here in town. That she worked for a window company, and she went up to everybody in the whole thing and gave her a little spiel about replacement windows. Well, half the people in this conference were renters. They didn't even have they will never have a need as long as they're, renting for any replacement windows. But she went through her whole 3-minute spiel about the replacement windows and how great they were and all this kind of stuff. Well, that's great, but you just, people turn you off, and it's not going to help. So, by telling what you do real quickly, exclude the people. Not everybody's in the market for windows, just for that example. So.
I'll say hi. everyone. Just want to let you know that the feds are going to meet on the 21st and 22nd. From right now, they're saying that they think they've underestimated the stabilization. So I'm not sure what that means. I mean, take it for whatever it is. I know the last quarter point, we thought maybe another quarter point, but after that statement, I'm not sure. People are obviously still spending. Rates are still going up. And just if you need anything, please let me know.
Thank you, Carrie. And if you'd like to put your contact information in there, I know we can see it on your name up there, but it's always good to mention it. Oh, there you go. Thank you very much. And Amber's in the market for windows. We personally, and in fact, we just bought some more, which we got to pick up for our new place, but we use Penny Window. They've been around for a long time. They're really good to work with investors. They're, and I'm not necessarily recommending them, but I have bought, I bought windows from them for 20 years now for different new windows and replacement windows. And I've had them do repairs. That's just who we use. I don't really have a contact information. The guy, let's see, they don't listen to John. What are you saying, Bruce? I'm not sure. Not sure what that means, but that's okay.
It's the feds. They didn't keep it
feds?
simple, like
Oh.
Carrie said.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Keeping it,
Yeah.
the government never keeps anything simple. Just look at your taxes.
Right. They keep getting worse and worse and
Yeah.
more paperwork.
Yeah, good point. But yeah, as far as any other contractors, I don't know if anybody else is here that would like to talk about anybody they've used. That I've just had good service with them, over the years. When we replaced the windows in our condo here a couple of years ago, we had them come out. What was really funny is they picked the coldest day on January to take every window out of the whole place. And I was the only one here, and it was like 10 degrees below zero. So it was a very interesting time, but they got them all done in one afternoon. So,
Wow.
I mean, took us a few months to order them because obviously everything's custom when you're replacing stuff. The nice thing that I noticed though, and actually I had, this is back probably 20 years ago when I had some hail damage in my personal residence, and we had some stuff on the windows, and they said they use Penny Window. And this was the roofing company telling me that. He goes, because they can recover your windows and do stuff. He goes, I'd use them anyway, and then we would just tack on the 10% or whatever. He said, just call them up, deal directly with them. I started using them for all my rental properties too. And they will go a long way. Now, they will not deliver our new windows we just ordered 100 miles away, but that's okay. We can pick those up. I mean, that's not a big deal. You just have to get somebody else to put them in, but that's something you can check out. I don't really have anything to do with them other than I like them. I like their service. They do have a place down there, and it's on, I think it's on Hall's Ferry, been the same place forever and ever, but you can go down there and they have stuff just sitting there on the parking lot. I know I've gone down there with my contractors a couple of times when we needed just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 windows, and they had the right size, and we bought them right there on the spot for like $100, stuff that would cost a few $100s from anywhere else. So.
How do you spell that, John? Is it Penny Window?
Penny,
Windows?
just like a penny. Penny.
Okay.
Let me see if
I've got the website already. I mean,
Oh,
I would just Google Penny Window, and it's on Halls Ferry Road in St. Louis. Yeah, it comes up Penny Window. They've got a 4-star rating on Google.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pennywindowstl.com.
Yeah, we've used them too. They did a great job. We have used them several times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. And did you use them for rental properties also?
Yes, for rental, yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I know they've done some stuff for me. I used to have this place in actually down in Baden area, and it was a 2-family, and that's another whole story for another day. But that's they had this big window with the curve, the little archway on the top of it, and they did some custom work that nobody else would do for me, and they did that, and it was very reasonable. I mean, I still had to get on the schedule. They couldn't just go out there the same afternoon, but within a couple of weeks, I mean, they did stuff for me for, I don't know, it wasn't very much money that everybody else. was even putting off, or I don't know if it was the neighborhood, some of it might have been, but it was also just the custom work too, because they had to actually make the curve, for the windows, do the archway in their factory there. So.
And yeah, they are very reasonable too. Yes, reasonable price.
Mhm. Yeah, they were not to I don't want to cut anybody down, but they were about half the price of Anderson windows a couple of times when we looked at them. And their guarantee, I don't know, I don't remember what it was. I think it's lifetime, but they came out, we had a little howling, and you couldn't tell in one of the windows, except when it was really windy and the wind was coming, I guess, a certain way, because it didn't always work that way. They came out several times without a charge to check on our stuff. And we had one sash, I can't even say it, that didn't work right, and they fixed that also. Okay, John said Chuck is the guy to talk to. Okay. I don't know if you're talking about Penny Windows or where, but okay. Penny Windows, yeah. Chuck, okay. Well, there you go. Got a contact info now. And Amber says she's also used Floyd's. Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with Floyd. Okay. All right, a lot of good stuff. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share? I know we're coming up on the hour here. We try to keep it as timely and punctual as possible.
Not really real estate related, John, but that email you sent me this morning, I appreciate it, but I can't use them. They won't fit.
You talking about your jet engines?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know if you were going to upgrade or not. So I just thought I'd pass along the bargain.
I appreciate that, but thanks. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. They had the government auction site's always very interesting. And anytime I see something related to airplanes or aeronautical, I like to keep you in mind, Jim.
Yeah. Thanks, John. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Can't you just put one in the tail, Jim, and get where you're going a lot faster?
I probably have a weight and balance problem. I'm not sure if I can handle that much extra weight.
We just have to invite more friends to sit up front.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, does anybody else have anything they'd like to share with us today? I will have the replay up. I always say by midnight. I'll at least have it over to the webmaster. If for some reason they don't always get them up there on our on the STLREIA member site by the weekend, they usually get it up by Monday. But if you want to watch the replay, or if you didn't get anything, or you just want to watch it again, because I know I always do. I usually watch it while I'm down, while I'm doing the transition, because there are things we can pick up. Just reach out to me, send me a note, and I'll be happy to send you a link, because I will have it on YouTube before midnight tonight.
Amber had one more question.
Rents food trucks. Amber wants to know. No, I don't know anybody. I know in Cottleville, by my post office box over here, they have a place over there full of food trucks now. It's like an outdoor place, and I don't know if those trucks are available, but you may find somebody from there. They definitely have food trucks, but I don't know if they rent them or what they do with them. That's about my only experience. Anybody else know anything about food trucks they'd like to share with Amber here?
Amber, do you know are you wanting to rent it for your own use to cook and do that kind of thing? Or are you looking to basically have a food truck at a function or something? You can call typically the actual look through on, there's they have their own website for food trucks, Food Truck St. Louis or something like that. They have an association, and you can go through there and see all the food trucks, see their availability, see if they're willing to come to your event. I've hosted those in the past, works well. And if you need help with the website, I'll try to find it. Just let me know.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay, anybody else have anything they'd like to share with us before we wrap it up today? A lot of good stuff today. I encourage you to go to the website STLREIA.com and just keep up on all the things coming up. We've got a lot of good things in the next couple months coming up. So we've got the meeting a week from Tuesday coming up, our main event with Dan Bryan. We also have the circus the same week with the Moolah Shrine Circus, and I encourage you to show up. Find out about that. Go get your coloring book and your free other book. They're free to people that know about it. The insiders here, even if you're not a member, it's okay. We'll still give you stuff. And then we do have on the 29th of April, the Real Estate Investing 101. So we're just putting that together. That's going to be very informative. Even if you're, we say 101, but even if you're not new, if you've been around for a while, there's a lot of good things you can pick up, especially with clauses and with contracts, documents, things like that. So, and if nothing else, it's a good refresher, plus a good networking event. As you know, we meet here every Friday for networking. There's a lot of good that comes out of this, and we're all here to help each other grow. And I still kind of joke around and say it's my real estate therapy, because sometimes, and I know this with other things, if you're having a bad week, you might need to come here just to see what everybody else is doing. And if you're having a really good week, everybody else might need to hear what you have to say, because we could use your positive energy. And the same thing when you're, with our main events and with the breakfast on the Tuesdays, and then our events on our other events, like on the Saturday coming up on the 29th. So anyway, if there's nothing else, I appreciate everybody coming in today. Reach out to me if you have anything you want to know. Otherwise, we'll have the replay up, and we'll look forward to seeing you all next week, if nothing else. All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you.